Peace, peace, Honcho. Peace, everybody on the live, everybody watching this video post live. I'm the Hood Mystic, representing www.hoodmystic.com with another daily energy reading. Today we're going to be talking about some alchemy, you know, this and that and this. We got Wednesday, so we discussing Mercury, and so it is Wednesday, and we are going to talk about the energy for today. But let me think. Friday we got a Mercury retrograde, so we kind of gonna touch on that a little bit. And Venus is such a real nigga. It goes on retrograde on Friday, and then it actually goes direct on Friday. So Friday will be more or less speaking to Venus going direct and everything Venus retrograde has showed us. And wow, it's been a real doozy. But as Venus goes direct, Mercury goes retrograde on the same exact day. So we're going to more or less speak to Mercury going retrograde and actually what it means, actually what it's showing me anyways. So just first and foremost, want to shout out Patreon, patreon.com/thehoodmystic. A lot of support over there. I haven't been over there because I've been busy, but today I'm going to go back over there and see what's good. Finish up those readings. So if you haven't put in a reading, today is the final day to put in your moon sign reading, and then we'll start again back in December, man. And like, we just be moving along through this, you know, but such a beautiful journey, nothing but growth and expansion over here. And that's something more or less that I'm wishing to everybody on the live, everybody watching the video. But let's get into this astrology. So the title of this video is Immortality. So to understand immortality, you have to understand death, transition, and ultimately that's the key to mortality, because having particular ancestors and people that transcend. Me personally, I grew up in an era, in an environment that a lot of my close friends, like real close, have actually transitioned. And so from this space, it's one or two things. It's like, you know, oh, Tyrone, we miss you, RIP, going to the great here and after, going to heaven. Or you actually understand and witness their transition from human beings to orishas, to angels, to celestial beings, etc., etc. Like, so this is really the key, that we all have particular people that we have been close to that have transitioned. And so this is, if you understand this transition, then you really understand that death is kind of not real, in a sense. Like, transitioning is real, like we transition out of this human body, but the actual feeling of death is really that illusionary phenomenon, as we deal with the etymology of immortal. The etymology of immortal, just straight, flat and plain, just means deathless. You know, unceasing, destined to endure forever, never to be forgotten, lasting a long time. And so this is what we try to establish and cultivate through consciousness. Our consciousness and our energy. So when we transcend, if our body ends, then our consciousness lives on, and we cultivate our soul. And all of this speaks to alchemy. And alchemy is extra dope when you're talking about money, because generally we've all made mistakes in the realms of making and money and things of that nature, and we know everything not to do with money. So when you talk about the ancestors and you talk about immortality, connecting to these ancestors, connecting to these beings is very important, because it actually inspires you to be more creative, come up with different ideas and different ways to spark your ways of being. So, like, I know that's kind of an ill transition, right, to be talking about the ancestors and immortality and then just flip it to money. But you got to understand, I'm not really taking a big left turn. I'm really, like, if you just simply in tune to what I'm saying, or in tune to what I'm trying to say, is that when you connect to your ancestors, they will give you the proper ideas that you need to sustain yourself. And so this is the overall theme that we're going to try to work with and try to play with. Being connected to source, being connected to that love, even that grief. You know, I'm a survivor of grief. You know, and so to be here today having these conversations and telling you, okay, the result of it. And it's not to say, like, you know, I'm out like making millions of dollars. What I am saying is that it has got me to a place where I'm opened up to my possibilities. Last night, Forbes put out an article of the 30 people, the 30 people under 30. You know, I'm 34. I always say that I'm 33, but I'm legit 34. And I'm looking at these people, millionaires, billionaires, like under 30. And I'm just like, wow, you know, they were focused on what they had to do. Like like when I was in my 30, I was oh Lord, you know. But ultimately, coming to terms with, you know, the mistakes that you've made is very much the key to alchemy, the key to changing your life. You know, you don't change your life if you don't come to grips about the mistakes that you made and change your energy. Mercury being at 13 degrees of Neptune, which is 13 degrees in Pisces. I'm sorry, let me backtrack. Mercury is in 13 degrees of Sagittarius, which is square to Neptune, which is 13 degrees in Pisces. And so this really, it really stands out to me, because this is for one, Mercury's going retrograde, and for two, Mercury is going retrograde 13 degrees to Pisces, which we just got finished talking about with this new moon in Scorpio, which was trine at the same position. And what did we do when the new moon was trine Neptune and Pisces? We did the guided meditation. We anchored. We got deep into our subconscious mind. And guess what I found when I was deep into my subconscious mind? A whole lot of ancestors, a whole lot of ancestral energy. So now that Mercury is squared this energy, that shows me that, okay, now I have to deal with the mistakes that I made in connecting with my ancestors, or even the mistakes that my ancestors made, or the mistakes that my parents made. Because maybe spiritually, a lot of us aren't always connected to both parents. Some of us are, some of us aren't. And so maybe the side that you weren't connected to is coming online, and you have that barrier because I didn't really fuck with my dad like that, or I didn't really fuck with my mom like that, etc., etc. This is where the square really comes up at. But if you're able to anchor, right, into this ancestral energy, is going to help you financially. It's not even in a sense of financially like, oh, you're gonna hit the lottery, but those ideas that you need to sustain yourself, or them ideas that you need to thrive in this society. Read in that article 30 under 30, and then the different areas of all these people being successful, and then I look at my life and I'm just like, damn, all we ever thought about was paying the fucking rent growing up. Like, that's all we cared about. We didn't like, oh, like industry, like, you know, you like, I look at my children, and I'm gonna get into this later, but I look at my children and I'm just like, damn, it's so many options that you can have, and you can go. You could be a culinary wizard, you know what I'm saying? You could be like, it's coding. Like, it's this 16-year-old boy who got a $1.2 million grant because he created an app. It's called Safe Trip. Look him up. He's 16 years old. He created this app. He's been coding since he was 12, but this app allows for people who don't have insurance to, like Uber, get a Uber ambulance, non-emergency EMT or EMT. They can Uber an EMT, yo. Like, 16-year-old boy, like 16, like more advanced than I am as a 34-year-old man. And it makes me like, okay, I'm not jealous. I'm just like, damn, I gotta get to work. You know, there's a lot of things that I need to do. It's a lot of information that I gotta learn. And I know, like, I know my wife and everybody around me probably was looking at me weird when I was like, I'm going back to school. I'm about to start getting into these computers, and I'm about to get me a job. You know, we had plenty of conversations where it was like, we'll never work again. We're just gonna do XYZ. But then I'm like, well, wait a minute. I gotta do like a 6-month internship to like fully get invested into just how computers work and being in this type of environment. Like, I need this right now. You know what I'm saying? That's cognizance. That's knowing, like, okay, there's more information out here. There's more ways of being. And then when I get into the environment, I'm being exposed to like corporations, like the IT department of corporations. Like, that's the everything. Like, if the IT department just say, you know what, fuck y'all, like, nobody's buying shit online, and that's where all of their money is coming from. Nobody's going to the mall or to the shopping stores to make money. Even so, that the real way that stores make money now is through online sales. Like, you'll buy something online, and then the store will ship it to you, and the store will take that as like they made some money today. But the reality is that, like, nobody's spending money like in stores, but everything is moving to technology. And the physical shell that you see, that is a mall, a shopping center, is just a front to keep this shit going. But everything is moved online. Everything. And so if you're not completely in tune to where spirit is leading you, and you trying to think that like spirit ain't leading you nowhere, you might be very misunderstood. It's all about taking that pivot. It's all about taking that turn right now. And Mercury retrograde is bringing up a level of karma for people who put themselves in karmic situations, or is putting yourself in a level of dharma if you put yourself in dharmic situations. Mercury at the 13th degree speaks to actual retribution for karma or dharma. What is karma, though? Karma is anything that you do that you kind of intuitively know it ain't right, but you do it anyway, and then you don't kind of live with circumstances or repercussions for a while, and then all of a sudden things fall down, and then you see people showing up and they just looking all crazy and feeling a certain type of way, and then it's like, you know, that's karma. Dharma is when you in tune that shit. Like, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to do this. I'm supposed to connect with this person. I'm supposed to get over myself, whatever the case may be, and be in my true self and true being. That's Dharma, and that is happiness. That's the way of the Tao. That's the way that we all should be striving to. And it looks crazy. It looks weird. It looks different, but your spirit says it's okay. And if your spirit says it's okay, then by G's, it's okay, because through transformation, I've literally seen things that I've been unaccepted within myself over time has become completely unaccepted. And my whole way of being is being accepted, to the point where people generally around me daily, they take it way further than I take it. So it's just like, okay, I can kind of fall back and just be my natural self, and there's no force, because everybody around me is cussing and doing the most and doing all this extra shit, and I'm just like, I just want to get back home to my family. Like, I don't really care, you know. But ultimately, Neptune at that 13 degree, being that square, it really is giving us an ancient way of creation that is self-evident, meaning that at a certain time, it was no roads in a certain neighborhood, dirt roads, and then we create concrete, and then we create highways and interstates and buildings and things of that nature. But before that, there was nothing. And so you could look at it two ways, like they're ruining the country, or you could look at it like they make, like, I like interstate travel. It's very much useful for me to get around, and I'm grateful for that person that thought of, you know, creating I-71 to get from Columbus to Cleveland, so I didn't have to take 23, which is long and drawn out, and you just get there. Like, that's being a genius. That's seeing. And then you got so much of it going on in the world where people are so creative, taking this technology to another level, taking their energy to another level. It's this lady in Chicago. She started a blog called The Tribe. She was on that list too. Like, you know, where people can find safe places to hook up. You sign on this email list, you know what I'm saying, to kind of deal with the violence, and you still want to have a good time. She created this site called Tribe. You know, a social, you know, it's people creating social media platforms, all types of shit. And it's like, when I see that, I see a whole bunch of people that got over their fucking self. Cause then what else I see in the 30 for under 30 is conglomerates, like 3 motherfuckers, 4 or 5, a group of people under 30, like they really working together on some shit. Oh, you do the programming, you do the coding, I'll do the application level. Like, you know what I'm saying? All right, let's have meeting, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then they getting funding, they getting millions of dollars, like, you know what I'm saying? And then we'd be like, you know, what about my boyfriend? Is he gonna leave me? I'd be like, who gives a fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Who cares? In the grand scheme of things, whatever is meant to be will be. And if it ain't really meant to be, that's karma. And if it's really meant to be, that's dharma. So just knowing, like, putting yourself in those spaces and tuning into that ancient energy. This is something that's self-evident. Like, we see ancient influence of energy in our world. Like, we get in a vehicle and order shit from DoorDash, like listen to a fucking music on our phones. Like, everything that we need is synthesized into our reality subtly. Generally, we had the record player at home, and we would take these long commutes, and we'd be like, damn, I really wish I could listen to music as I go on these commutes. And then they like, all right, let's create this tape player with batteries. And then it just progresses to now it's like on your phone, on Spotify, and It's gonna get more in tune. You're gonna have music in your body. It's just gonna, you just press a button on your finger and it's just gonna, like, you think this shit is far-fetched, but the way that technology is progressing at an exponential level. Exponential means that, you know what exponents is. If I get 2 by the 10th power, that's a lot of 2s. If I get 2 by the 100 power, that's an unimaginable amount of 2s. And technology grows exponentially. It doesn't grow by 1s. And then, you know, you got quantum computing. Like, I don't want to sound nerdy or take people so far to where I'm sounding crazy, but do your research on this shit that's actually happened, that actually human beings are sitting here programming your motherfucking future with algorithms. It's a lady from MIT, she in a 30 for under 30, and she's coming up with an algorithm to combat motherfuckers from being biased to you, for not even showing you and like shit on YouTube and things of that nature by your very being of like what you purchase. Algorithms can be racist to you. like the promotions can be racist to you. But it's a lady at MIT, I can't remember her name, but you got to look at that 30 for 30 article on Forbes.com. I sound like I'm promoting it, but it was just inspiring to me. I don't know. But she's creating an algorithm to combat people being racist against you. And I'm sure 10 times out of 10, you niggas don't even know you being racially profiled on your goddamn phone. You wouldn't know that, you wouldn't be none the wiser. You think that you unhappy for no reason. You don't know that you getting attacked. Like, racism has moved into technology too. Like shit. And so all of this is to be saying that if you was in tune with your power, your energy, you would be way more than that. Because then what I did see is a bunch of people who really are in tune into the matrix and what the matrix desires. But then as us being conscious and really being aware of ourselves and our personal energy, we could be on that list, you know, probably not the 30 under 30, but the 40 under 40. That don't sound too bad, you know. And so what is the block to us being on the 40 under 40 for us? Like, legit, it's 50 people on this live. 50 of us could come into some business together. I'm sure we could align 50 skills and be like, you know, change the world with this platform. I know that's far-fetched, but the only block to it would be your mind. And that's really what this Neptune square Mercury retrograde is representing. The blocks to your spiritual growth, the blocks to everything that you can be. And it's not like I'm saying nothing far-fetched. This shit is actually happening in a world where shit is just crazy. Like, amazingly crazy. Like, technology will have you doing all types of shit, creating any type of programs. And man, we got so many issues when it comes to mental health, women's health, children's mental health. Like, we need technological applications that can speak to that. But if the people that are affected by that are not in tune to what's happening technologically, or even with ancient spirituality rising to the surface, then who's gonna do it? If you don't do it, this is your responsibility, and this is not something that's impossible. A large point of this is copy and paste and just knowing where shit goes and how shit works. Once you figure out your processes, then everything else becomes easy. But the hardest thing about this, which we'll talk about tomorrow, Jupiter in the first degree of Sagittarius, is just starting. So much can be accomplished if we just simply start. And so, me being deeply spiritually led, as always, I did Monday possession, which was 8. Yesterday I did couche, which was 9, and naturally I did 10, which was the market, which was kind of in perfect alignment to this conversation. This was not really a force. I've been talking about how Mercury was money for a long time, right? Commerce, right? If you don't believe me, just type in Hood Mystic, Money Magic. Hood Mystic, you know what I'm saying? That's when I kind of jumped it off. So now here we are, the market, and really in tune into what the market really means. And so the market brings upon the word synthesis. And the word synthesis means the combination of ideas to form a system. The combination of ideas to form a system. Now, it's a lot of people that don't like me for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? Or I annoy them, or how I sound, or my delivery, etc., etc., etc. But I really want y'all to fucking understand what I'm saying, though. The market is a combination of ideas to form a system. So however you feel about a person, it don't really matter. We need to create a system to sustain ourselves, or else we dependent on somebody else's system that is fucking us up. And it's an even playing field. You got whole societies, whole communities investing time and energy into technology, while we worrying about what happened with Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. Is they feuding? Is they beefing? Did they fight? What happened to that lump on her head? Like, oh, shit. So ultimately, you know, level of communication, a level of dependence, a level of interdependence, a level of showing up. I don't care if you a vegan, you depend on a farmer to farm your goddamn beets and your goddamn celery. If you driving today, you depending on people not to run red lights when you traveling through a green one. Because if they just said, fuck it, I'm gonna just run this red light, I don't depend on nobody. We'd be living in a crazy world. So we all depend on each other. I depend on everybody to contribute to my survival, so I can be with my family. And people that I don't know, people that I don't come across, people that I don't come in, like, I depend on you to stay at that goddamn stop sign, my nigga, while I'm driving through. And so this is really, you know, that's a microcosm, but the macrocosm is on a spiritual level, where we want to do this shit alone. Where this is all about us and, you know, our dependency on something, and then when it comes to other people, being disconnected, but then having this idea like, oh shit, I want to be successful though, I want to make some money, but what about your communication skills? Oh, I don't really like people get on my fucking nerves, you know, you really annoy me, you mystic, you really get on my nerves, I don't understand you and shit like that. And it's like, well, 9 times out of 10 you don't communicate. If you had those feelings, anytime you had those feelings, especially towards me, you're not communicating towards me. Or because we can get to the bottom of some shit. If I aggravate you or irritate you or bother you, or anything that I did or said or anything bothered you to the point where you got to get it off your chest, you know my email. A lot of people even know where I live. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to communicating, and when it comes to opening up the market, when it comes to trade and commerce and things of that nature. We have to be open to the idea of communicating and creating and co-creating. Or we into the idea that we're going to hit the lottery, and once we hit the lottery, everything is going to be good, and we can look back and just be like, oh, I'm rich. But that's neither here nor there. So all of this really speaks to alchemy. There's a lot of words on this. a lot of words on this, so like if you want to pause this and read this, you're more than welcome to, but I'm gonna just kind of touch on this last sentence. When a person has these vehicles, he or she can incarnate his or her soul without having these Christic bodies. No human being is a true human being. Meaning that when you deal with a human being and they all about their trauma, they all about getting in a relationship, they all about what they personally want out of life, but they don't really know anything about alchemy. They don't really know about transforming or transmuting their energy. They don't know anything about that. You got to realize that that person is kind of living on an animalistic level. And if you decide to be conscious, like, you know, if you decide to be conscious, you got to be very clear on what that means for you. Where a lot of people can come into this thing and be really caught up and not believe in ancestors or not believe in the secret or the invisible life or doing sex magic or doing forms of alchemy and really dealing with their shadow self. A lot of people come into consciousness simply thinking that it's a way of looking, like in a way of eating, like, you know, if I got dreads and I'm vegan and I replace my cross for an ankh, and instead of saying good morning, I say grand rising, you know, and I go on fast and I go on all of these existential things that, what happened? You good? My fault. And so if I go through all of these existential things, that I'm not, that then like, okay, I'm good now, because people look at me a certain type of way. But you got to understand that you don't have to be conscious to be a motivational speaker. Like, it's hella motivational speakers that don't know shit about nothing, and they can all be with the they can all be about, you know, all types of shit, you know, black power, and, you know, have all of everything around them to give the illusion that they're conscious. But then when it's like, all right, where's the raising of the vibration? There is no raising of vibration, because as soon as some shit happen, people gonna be talking to you know, the lowering of the vibration. Somebody said some racist stuff, oh, let's beat them up, or whatever the case may be. So it's like, where's the practice? Where's the modality in it? Like, where is the teaching in it? That's what I would ask. It's not an aesthetic look. This thing is about alchemy. This thing is about developing your soul. Like, I'm nobody's leader, nobody's guru, nobody's healer. All I do is help people get in tune with their own personal soul, and from there, leave me the hell alone. Like, no, for real. I'm just saying, like, it ain't about me. It's about you and developing your soul. It's about you and developing your alchemy. You know, I deal with a lot of people. So if all those people was looking to me to be they psychologist, damn, they don't pay me enough. Like, for real. Like, I'm not charging $400 an hour for psychological sessions. You know what I'm saying? Where I can take care of my family off of healing people. Like, no, it ain't that kind of party. It is what it is. But, you know, if anything that I could ever do was help you get in tune with your own personal soul, and your personal soul be that thing that saves you, then good. And if we could come together in a reasonable way and think of ways to come together, whether it be YouTube videos or, you know, business opportunities, then that's good too. But other than that, it's like, You can't depend on anybody to solve your problems if you constantly making the same mistakes. That's not fair to your healer. If your healer say don't fuck with your baby daddy and you go fuck with him anyways, like what's the point? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how could I, like, I'm not gonna be forceful with anything. I'm gonna live a life of ease and, you know, gratitude and sincerity. So with that being said, book a reading with me. hoodmystic@gmail.com is the email. www.hoodmystic.com/spiritual services is the website, where you can get the pricing and things of that nature. Just want to thank everybody on the live who kind of participated in this. It was a lot of conversation that was going on the side. Too much conversation that I really couldn't attune to it. But what I am going to be doing either tonight or Thursday night is I'm going to be doing live readings. Like, I've been called to do live readings again. That's where I really started with my ministry or anything that I used to do. Like me being in front of the camera and like being on social media. It started with me like literally doing live reads for people. Like, and if them live reads wasn't successful, it would have never been a Hood Mystic. But those live reads was always successful. They was super good, gave me a lot of like encouragement to keep doing what I was doing. And so kind of back in that space, at least for a day. So be sure to join into that. If you be like, what time, Hood Mystic, where can I get in on these live readings? Well, the only way is if you subscribe to this channel, hit the notifications bell, and don't do occasionally, do always. So every time I go live, you will get notified. It'll come through on your phone, laptop, desktop, computer that I'm going live. Boom, you tune in. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna have the instructions on the side, so it'd be kind of nice in order, because live readings can get crazy. Now, I want to give away some t-shirts too, so that's gonna happen. I don't know, it's a lot of stuff that I want to do, a lot of stuff I want to get popping, but I can't do it alone either. So, you know, gotta get some teammates in this joint, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't do this shit alone. Be sure to email me to any type of, you know, real shit that's going on or anything you want to get promoted or whatever. Hit me up. Like, let's really talk on some business shit. Like, let's stop playing. Like, and get into that Forbes article. Like, if you like, anybody read that Forbes 30 under 30 that just came out. Like, share some information. Like, what did you take from that? Because when I took from that, like, it's very moving. Like, it's on their website, very moving. Like, it's so, it's not even just 30 people, it's like 300 people, but it's like 30 different areas where 30 young people is like really coming up, and I'm just like so proud of them. Like, I'm like, I just need to get to that level. But yeah, I show that camera for my Amazon wish list on. That's intentional. I would change it, but I don't know how to. I don't want to change it. I'm getting that camera for sure. But thank y'all for tuning in, man. I'll see y'all tomorrow. We're gonna talk about beginning, and how tough it is to start something, but you gotta start somewhere. Everything starts with a starting point. So tomorrow we build. Peace.